If I had to start DevOps from zero today in 2026, I ignore most of the roadmaps you find on YouTube, Reddit, wherever it is. They're either years out of date or they're trying to sell you a dream that wants you to learn 50 tools in your first month. Now that's not a roadmap. This is the actual blueprint. 6 phases, roughly 4 to 6 months if you're consistent. And this is the timings I would say you need to follow. This video is for career switchers, juniors, and even self-taught people trying to break into DevOps, cloud, platform engineering. Now, if you're already mid-level and you want the senior version, there's another video I will hand you over to. I'm Mo, a principal platform engineer in the UK, and I run Code2Go. And I've spent the last few years hiring and mentoring people through this exact path. So this is a version I'd give to my younger brother if he asked me tomorrow. Now, before the phases, a few things you should know going in. Look, the average time from zero to your first DevOps job, if you're consistent and building things, is roughly, let's say, 6 to 8 months. Sometimes it could be less, but it's not 30 days and it's not 90 days. It's not the norm. It is possible, but it's not the norm. Anyone selling you that timeline is probably selling you a dream, not the proper plan. So focus here. And again, I'm gonna be very honest with you. The job market is harder than it was in 2022, but it's not as hard as you think it is. Junior DevOps roles are getting paid 45 to 55k, mid-level 55 to 85k, and seniors 85 to 130k. These are the numbers I've seen offered this year. And the biggest mistake I see people is learning a list of tools instead of solving a problem. Tools that are a problem, to apply them, are just trivia, right? Every phase in the roadmap ends with you building or breaking something. Now that's the bit that's important here. Right, 6 phases, let's go. Phase 1, Linux and networking, the fundamentals, about 2 to 3 weeks. This is a phase nobody likes and everyone actually needs. You get fluent in the shell, right? Not Conaran LS, actually fluent, using pipes, redirects, find, grep, awk. And if you're feeling brave, right, there's a lot more you can do. Understand what a process actually is, Linux process, what systemd does, what happens when you SSH into a box. If you can't explain TCP, DNS, and how a request gets from your browser to a server, every cloud topic later is going to feel like magic and you won't understand. Networking is the silent killer in interviews. Now, I've sat and I've ran loads of those interviews where the candidate could write Terraform but couldn't tell me what a simple CIDR block is. Don't be that guy. That's the end of phase 1. You should be able to spin up the Linux box, harden it, and explain how a packet gets in and out of it. That's it. Not Kubernetes just yet. Phase 2, learn one cloud properly and deeply. And this could take maybe, again, 5 to 6 weeks. And I'll say start with AWS. They have the market share. Don't think about Azure, GCP, Alibaba, all these multi-cloud nonsense, right? I see it every week. Juniors trying to learn AWS, Azure, don't do that. You end up shallow on all 3. Pick one, go deep, okay, and get really good at it. Now, if you're picking AWS, there's a lot of services, but stick with mainly 5 to 6. IAM, EC2, ECS, VPC, S3, RDS, the core ones, the secrets manager maybe, and that's it. You don't need to know what every other service does. Trust me, you don't. Now, the thing that separates juniors is not just how to learn each service, it's about how to connect every single service. Now, end of phase 2, you've deployed an app, right, on AWS. You've written IAM policies by hand and you've torn things down. And you also understand how different services connect together. Phase 3, infrastructure as code. And again, about 4 to 6 weeks. Now, start with Terraform first. That is the industry standard. Now, there's Pulumi and so many other things. Now, I know Pulumi people are going to be in the comments, but Terraform is what most jobs are asking for, right? The docs are even better. And the moment you understand state, you understand pretty much what Terraform is. The bit that trips, beginners up is state, local state, remote state locking, all these things, right? Make sure you understand how things work, how to push secrets, how to use modules, how to use Terraform at scale, how to use Terraform in pipelines, right? Now, in this phase, you've probably deployed, your second phase of cloud into Terraform. You know how to use Terraform with AWS. You know how to use it at scale, like I've mentioned. And this is the part you need to understand and get good grips with. Phase 4, containers and maybe some Kubernetes. Now, this could probably be the long one and the more harder one, about 5 to 7 weeks, maybe a bit longer. Now, first things first, get fluent in Docker, right? Multi-stage builds, image layers. What are these things? Why are images 2 GB? And when should it be like 10 megabytes or 8 megabytes? All of that. Now, then you have Kubernetes, right? The hot take. Most beginners overlearn Kubernetes and underlearn everything around it. Now, you don't need to be able to explain the entire control plane in your first few weeks, right? You need to understand the basics, pods, deployment, services, ingress, config maps, the secrets, and the architecture is a very good way to kind of top it off. Now, if you're applying for jobs that say Kubernetes in the title, please make sure to go deeper. Understand the internals as well. If If you're applying for general DevOps roles, the bar is lower, right? Be honest about your CV, what you can actually do. You've built, a 300K cluster on EC2, and you've deployed maybe some services. You've ran Ingress on there and so on. Phase 5, CI/CD and GitOps. This also may be 4 to 6 weeks. Now this is where you start to feel like you're actually working in the real world. And the default here, GitHub Actions. Now it's quite straightforward, it integrates quite well. Learn how to write a real pipeline, right? Test, build, push to image registry, maybe deploy something, write some tests, and of course use your IDC and roles to authenticate to your cloud providers. Don't use AWS access keys because these are very risky. GitOps, Argo CD. Now this is the stretch goal for phase 5. If you've got Kubernetes running and a Git repository of your manifest, you know that Argo syncs them, okay? So you've learned the modern pattern that runs half of the modern infrastructure these days. Then you have phase 6, the bonus one, observability. And this project ties everything together. This one could take maybe 4 to 5 weeks. Prometheus and Grafana are the foundations, right? You don't need to understand Datadog, Dynatrace, all these things. Focus on, for example, you need to have a service built off, right? Make sure you can scrape metrics off it. Have a dashboard, set some alerts, right? And look at the alerts fire when something breaks. And then the bit that gets people hired. Build one big portfolio project that uses all these components, right? A proper application deployed via Terraform on AWS, maybe in containers or ECS, maybe on a small cluster, and then deploy it via GitHub Actions, right? With metrics in Grafana and Prometheus, and then maybe alerts via to your phone or your laptop. Now that's a proper portfolio. That's the thing you point an interviewer at and say, this is the thing I built. Trust me, this is the thing that beats all these certs. And the biggest one, jumping straight to Kubernetes before you can SSH into Linux box. Trust me, you will burn a lot of weeks pretending to understand what pods are when the actual gap is in your fundamentals. Phase 1, phase 2, these are non-negotiables. Do not skip it, trust me. And the other one I see a lot, the other common mistake, just doing certs for the sake of it instead of building projects. Look, I say again and again, certs do not get you hired. Yes, they might get you past your CV, past security filter or ATS, right, at a couple of companies, and that's about it. But every mid-level and senior engineer has a proper GitHub repository and projects they've worked on that gets them hired, and the one that gets repeated forever and again and again. Look, trying to become multi-cloud at your 2nd month or 3rd month, don't do that. Focus on one cloud, get really good at it, and then move on to the next, maybe after 2-3 years. If you've watched up to here and you actually want to do something like with this video, here's what I do this week. Look, get a machine, spin up a Linux virtual machine, for example, maybe AWS, sign up to a free EC2, right? SSH into it, go in the terminal 1 hour a day, run a few commands, cd, ls, get used to the terminal, get very good at it. Open the AWS console, for example, create a free tier account, write some line policies, and get familiar by hand with these things. This is what you do in your day-to-day job. Maybe write your first Terraform file, maybe deploy an S3 bucket, you destroy it, bring it up again, set up your state, and so on. Now pick one project idea and write it down. And then once you've done that, tell your friends, tell your family, tell someone, and put it on LinkedIn. Very important. And this is a public commitment I urge you to do. Maybe write a tweet on Twitter, maybe a LinkedIn post, and this is for your accountability, and maybe a hiring manager will see your project out there and you could get hired because of that. Now if you want a structured way to do this with people going through the same 6 phases right now, the Code community is where they hang out. We've got people on phase 1 and people getting offers, phase 6, everything. Link in the description below. Now if you only take one thing away from this video, it's this. Pick your phase where you are. I say start from the beginning, start with small and do it again every single week. Keep going and this will compound. Now drop a comment with the phase you're on, right? I read all of these comments and I reply to as many as I can. If you found this useful, make sure to subscribe, and again, join our free DevOps community in the description below. Until then.